behind it?
All Days actually started in the summer of 1998, and I was inspired to do it based on I used to throw parties in the DC area, and of course my parties like every 90 days to 120 days, and I was getting large followers, so I wanted to find a way to, get some income on a more steady basis. And me being a big guy, a lot of people was attracted to my style and the little flair I got. So they always ask me about my clothes. So I say, well, maybe I can attract the big guys and turn to the urban wear. And of course, Madness always was a inspiration for me also. You know what I'm saying? Back in my brain, but I wasn't never really focusing on clothes. I was doing the party stuff. So that so Madness is part of that also.
Where did the All Days name come from?
Where it actually came from. When we was young, when we used to be, in the streets living a whole nother life, our little sayings that we always said, we're going to grind all day, 24/7, we ain't going to never stop. So I kind of got the concept from there, and I just kind of put a twist to it with the fashion, like saying, that's why you notice that it ends with Z and begins with A, that it's the beginning and end of all fashion. You can wear clothes for all occasions, different, for whatever thing, whatever you want into.
Yeah. Okay. And speaking of like wearing clothes and different fashion, you remember when New Balance made that big hit in DC?
I mean, New Balance, as far as I can remember back to when I was a youngster, like 11, 12, I mean, New Balance was like, it was our dress code. You know what I'm saying? 990, whatever they was at the time, 991s, whatever they were, 1300s, you know what I'm saying? That was just, I seen the older dudes doing it. Really, that's what got my eye to it, because the older guys was doing it in front of me. So that's what got my eye to it. So it always been a dress code for DC. Always been.
With this shop, I know that, especially with the sweat hoodies, like it's just a popular shoe to put it together.
Right.
But going back to your come up, do you remember selling your first shirt?
Yeah. I sold my first shirt on the hill next to the store. I used to have when I was getting the store actually renovated, I put a table out there. So I started the process of actually branding it and selling it like up to 90 days before the store actually was open.
Wow. Yeah. Do you talk about like?
Hello.
Let's talk about the style, like with New Balance, and you see a lot of comparisons and collaboration. Why you think so?
Like I say, back like in our time, New Balance, like DC style always been, before hip hop kind of hit the new generation, it always been kind of like, I ain't gonna say bland, but more chill. Like we like the blacks and grays. So with the New Balance being the grays like that, it kind of went with everything we was doing, because we always been into designers, but we wasn't to the loud colors of design. Just the name and whatever, like black Versace shirts or black Hugo Balls or Giorgio Armani, whatever. And then even with the sweat. So New Balance kind of went in, concerns with that, but also.
Did like with some of the designs, cause I know you couldn't.
Can I pass by with the camera?
Do you think that back in the day some of your designs were inspired by New Balance, like the gray suits?
That's basically New Balance inspired everybody who had a clothing line in the city design. The New Balance, the gray New Balance, you know what I'm saying? And, some of the black Timberlands, I know that's not the topic, but you know what I'm saying? But definitely the gray New Balance inspired the black and gray, because it was an easy fix.
It was an easy fix, yeah. How do you like wearing them?
Yeah. No, I got 3 or 4 pair. Any dude from DC that's 35 or over, he gonna have 3 or 4 new pair of New Balance in his bed.
Why do you say that age range?
Because it meant more to us. It meant more so like how the phone parts might mean to a young cat now, the new generation. That's what the New Balance meant to us. You know what I'm saying? It was our code. We go to the fights. Anywhere you go out of town, people relate, or them DC dudes. You know what I'm saying? They got the New Balance on. So that's mean a lot to it.
So I got a question. Like with the clothing industry within DC, what do you think happened? Because it's like it just.
Personally, I think with everything, time evolves. That's one thing, but outside of that, I think you gotta keep in mind. Like I always speak from the old. Hold on one second. Hey, look, we got 2 interviews going on road. Goddamn. Okay, go ahead. It was started about you said.
What do you think? What do you think is the transition of the clothing lines?
I think time changed everything. That evolved. I think that definitely played a strong part in it. But I also think that, like I say, with the new generation, I just think hip hop finally kind of infiltrated DC. Like it didn't hit with DC because we was under the old codes, what I call it. So we DC or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why with Fair Farm and Fubu and Rockwood, it never was able to infiltrate. So now with the new generation, they kind of got with hip hop. So it kind of made them open their eyes to different stuff. It wasn't about DC for them. It was about the hip hop culture. So I think that hurt. That ended up walking the Urban Apparel line down because we were sticking to our look, our culture, our style. And then with the skinny jeans and Lil Wayne and them with the skinny stuff, and of course the same demographic who follows that trend, they wanted that look.
Okay.
And that's the opposite of what the Urban Apparel look is about.
You have an incredible story. You've been through like a lot of ups and downs before somebody, and you're a pioneer in the clothing game. I mean, especially in the fashion, maybe in business, period. But what is like inspiration? Like I know you had a lot of downs. You know what I'm saying? For somebody, especially from the city, like.
Right. My inspiration is just seeing so many people on my team. Basically, like I call it wasted talent, you know what I'm saying, versus even all the way to the fact of getting murdered. They didn't plan to be murdered, but I seen a lot of people lose their lives. I seen a lot of people get caught up in the penal system, the federal institution. So, I mean, my inspiration was always to try to be a winner. Like, I'm not saying them guys was losers, but I wanted to do another path. Yeah. And then when I was living another life, I already had a lot of leadership qualities and business savvy there. I just never had the school training to apply it, to make it make sense in the corporate world. But I always was a businessman at heart, even as a young kid. So, I just had to try to focus my energy in a positive way with it.
Yeah, and we know you being a pioneer, you probably have certain connections and you get a certain amount of respect. But for the new guy, if you talk to them in the DMV, they might be like, oh, it's a lot of politics. Right. What is your advice of making it in the DMV? Like, how can you make it as a business owner, as an artist?
You gotta be hungry, whether you rapping, selling T-shirts, pumping gas. You just gotta be hungry. You can't be closed-minded. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand that everybody ain't gonna like what you like. You know what I'm saying? And I had to go over those bumps in the beginning because I was designing for me instead of the people. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be open for change and stuff like that. But you just gotta be hungry. You gotta stick to the grind. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand that you want it more than anything next to life itself. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're on your own businessman, people don't understand is everything counts on you. If you oversleep, that means your business not open. You know what I'm saying? If you get sick, that means if you ain't got nowhere, you're not making no money. So it ain't like at work, you call in sick, somebody replace you. You know what I'm saying? So people got to understand it's going to be a lot of walls you hit. You just got to keep getting up and walking through them.
All right, well, yeah, that's it for me. That was good.